It's Wednesday, July 17th, and today we're talking child abuse and legislation.
The conversation starts now.
Only on Foster TV.
It's Wednesday, July 17th today. Today's not as fun of a day to talk. Like I'm kind of dreading today. I know it's going to be a really, really good show. Don't get me wrong. But we're talking about child abuse and legislation, and Tristan and I are huge, like we love kids. And so it's always hard when you're talking about child abuse. But we have to get the information out, and so we're going to do that today.
It's definitely going to be one of the topics that are harder to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. So all this Pioneer Woman stuff, do you see this?
Yes, I also see the grill and a couple other things.
Yeah, like so there's like some towels, and there's some salad bowls and plates and cups, and all of this was donated by one of our foster youth that aged out. Her name is Summer, and so Summer is really behind this no trash bags move. She did it.
Yes.
And she talks about it in her new, she's on her brand new television show that we're going to announce tomorrow.
Okay.
But she talks about this in her new show about these trash bag moves. And so she is so against that she wanted to give some stuff to raffle off. And she purchased most of this stuff here. And then she got us a barbecue grill that has all the utensils.
Right.
And a $100 gift card, and I left it in my office, but I'll have it on here, but we have a $100 Walmart gift card. And so if you donate to the No More Trash Bags, then you have a chance to win this stuff. And so we just wanted to display it, but most of all, thank you, Summer.
Yes.
For believing in us and believing in what we do. And she was very emotional when she talked about trash bags. And we want to change that, and we're working our very best to change that. Tristan and I are devoted to giving away 4,000 bags this year, and then 1,000 in August. So we're going to do that. If you didn't see Courtney at the beginning of the show today, we've had to make a little change. She's still with us.
Just a temporary change.
Yeah, she's still with us. She's still our executive producer. She doesn't only executive produce this show, but she has a new show that's coming out.
It'll be coming out here pretty quick.
Right, and so she's getting ready for that show, and she's getting her second master's degree. So she's already got her master's in forensic psychology, and she's getting another master's degree because she's really smart. So we're glad that we have her on our team, but she needed to take a little bit of a hiatus from our show and being in front of the camera.
And I don't blame her. I mean, she is a busy woman.
Yeah, very, very busy. And so she's still on our team. She's still with us. She's active, and you're going to see her on her own show, and then you'll see her back next season for Foster Life again, because she's still a part of this show as well. So our hats off to Courtney, and she's we'll see her around. Matter of fact, she's sitting right over here next to me telling me what to do right now. So we'll be doing that. So, did you see it? Foster TV launched an expansion today.
I did see that.
And I am really excited about this.
My phone's been going off all day today because of that.
Oh yeah, and people are sharing this like crazy, but we launched Let's Talk. And basically it's a platform where people can tell us positive stories, or they can tell us issues that they've had with the foster care system, maybe a worker, whatever the case may be, it's a place for them to put their story out. And we're going to listen. That's what we're committed to, is listening.
And if we can point them in the right direction to get something done, then that's what we'd love to do.
Right. Yeah, we want to point people that have concerns in the right direction to see what we can do to help, if we can help. And then, on the other hand, those positive stories that you send us, that gives us a chance to just give back and to share and to encourage each other to keep doing positive things in the foster care community. So let's talk. We released it this morning. It's been shared on a ton of different
different profiles.
Yeah, profiles and things where people chat about foster care and foster families and that kind of stuff. And the last time I checked our website, that page had been hit, I think, around 10,000 times. So we must be doing something to be getting those kind of hits and people checking it out. And I know that we've already received a few stories because I looked right before we came on the show today. And so it looks like Let's Talk might be a really good thing. If you have a story that you'd like to share, no matter what it may be, you just go to our website, fostertv.net, and click on Let's Talk. We'll be back after this. Your logo deserves to be on our duffel bag. Contact Cindy McDaniel today.
Guess what day we're filming on?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. 65% of child abuse cases in America go unprosecuted every year, which leaves that total of actual prosecutions not very high. Today we have our friend Courtney with us, and her family is a survivor of child abuse. And although we won't be talking about Courtney's story today, we are going to be talking about legislation and things that you can do within your community to help with that. Welcome, Courtney. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so does this child abuse thing that happens, I mean, not all of it's severe, right?
No, not all of it's severe, but on the same note, it can be very devastating.
Right. And there's a lot that is very severe.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, our son actually goes to the special ed, the Bright Futures or
Shining
Stars. Yes, here. And I was surprised, like when we went through that program, how many kids come in to care that are, you know, shaken baby syndrome and, you know, all of those different things. So some can be very severe and some are not so severe. So what are some of the things that you see in cases where it's more severe?
So in more severe cases, you'll see everything from loss of vision, loss of hearing, intellectual delays, emotional, developmental delays. A lot of times you'll see children that are 3 and 4 and they're not able to sit up or say mom or dad. They can't communicate their needs. They're not able to feed themselves. They're not able to like looking into potty training, that's not even an option. It's really heartbreaking to see the setbacks that a child has at somebody else's hands.
Right.
Now, eventually, do those cases, do they wind up getting their hearing back or vision or anything, or is it something that's long lasting?
You know, that's one of the things with child abuse is there's no certain way that it's going to be. There's no expectation, especially when it comes to brain injuries. The prognosis for brain injuries, there's just so much unknown. Some of those kids will eventually catch up and may just have some learning issues or trouble communicating with peers. But some of those children will continue to progress in a negative way. Where at one point they may just have some vision issues and maybe not catching up with their peers. The next thing you know, they have feeding issues and they need to be fed by a tube, and then comes respiratory issues. So there's just a huge range, and you just don't know what day to day is going to bring.
You know, I think one thing that's kind of interesting to me, because my background was not in this at all, and then we started fostering, and we wanted to take in all kinds of children. And the one thing that I find very interesting is when I think child abuse, or when I used to think child abuse, I always thought parents. Like parents as being the abuser. And I have not taken one child in that has been abused, except for, well, I changed that. We've taken in one or two that were abused by their parents. A lot of times they're abused by somebody else.
Absolutely.
Like a care worker, a daycare, a friend, or something like that. Do you see that often?
I do. I have several friends that are moms, and they've got children who were with a babysitter who had watched all of their other kids. And so they had all of their faith in this person and their ability to watch their kid, and it was devastating for their family. I have seen it be people who are well-known members in their communities that don't have any kind of a criminal background. I know one mom, and her child was abused by, it was her husband at the time, but he was a police officer in the community. So you just never know where the abuse will come from, who will be the perpetrator.
Right. And I think it's important as foster parents, especially, and caseworkers that are watching, that we always keep that in mind. And when this happens to the children, sometimes these are in environments, these people have been checked out. And for instance, like a daycare, a lot of daycares that you work in, they have to be fingerprinted, and they have to be background checked, and they have to have this and that. And so the parents are victims too. And so I think as we talk about child abuse and legislation and stuff, it's important to remember it not only affects the child, it affects the whole family.
The whole family unit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and everybody has different feelings about that.
Is there different signs that you can catch? Like, say it is happening at a babysitter?
So with babies, you'd want to look for them acting more lethargic than normal, not eating, maybe inconsolable. If you notice those kind of things, then you should probably take a closer look. If you notice that when you go to diaper your child and they're screaming out in pain and that's not a normal thing, then you should probably question, maybe have them checked out by a pediatrician. It never hurts to be safe.
That's right. Well, when we come back today, we're going to talk more about legislation and things that we can do to help with these child abuse and child abuse convictions. Your logo deserves to be on our duffel bag. Contact Cindy McDaniel today. Welcome back to Foster Life today on Wednesday. We're talking about a not so fun subject, but I'm hoping that we're going to learn in this segment are things being done. So Cindy, you used to be a caseworker,
Right?
before you came to work at Foster TV. How many child abuse cases do you see? I mean, is that a pretty consistent reason why kids come into care?
Child
To
abuse and neglect.
Yeah. Is the most, what do you see more, child abuse or neglect?
Probably more child abuse.
Oh yeah, so it's a big issue. So what are some of the things that are currently being done in the United States to, I guess, protect and to make sure that these victims are getting due diligence by getting convictions? Because when my producer was telling me before I went on the show today that only 35% of these cases that are child abuse are getting actually prosecuted, and then it's even a lower number how many actually get convicted. I think we need to do some work. So what are some things that are happening out there, Courtney?
So there was a law that just went into effect, I believe in March of this year, and that was Destiny's Law. And that law made it to where convicted child abusers who who harm children under the age of 10 have 6 years added to their sentence. I think that's a big thing, is that the sentences are so short. A lot of times we're seeing people just get probation,
Right.
and not actually do time. So Destiny's Law really kind of helped get justice for some of those victims and their families.
And that's in Ohio, right? Is that what you were telling me?
I believe that one's in Ohio. Yes.
Okay, cool. What are some other things that you see out there?
And then there's Wyatt's Law, which is in Michigan, and that one is, it's a mother fighting for her child, justice for her child, but pushing to get a child abuse registry that's public.
Oh.
So that we as parents have the ability to look in to see who's taking care of our kids, and just to get that added level of security and peace of mind knowing that they're okay.
Yeah, that was my question was, sex offenders, they have a list that you can view. I wondered if child abuse cases were that way, where the child abuser was on some kind of list.
I wish they were. Well, they are on a list, but not public. So just you or I can't go and look at that and get information on people.
Well, that's a little frustrating to me, because why would we be able to know where sex offenders live? Because I could put in my address right now, and I can see all the sex offenders that live around me.
Right.
I should be able to see where all the convicted child abusers live, shouldn't I?
Well, Missouri has the Family Care Safe Registry, and so that is a registry that those that have a substantiated child abuse or neglect charge are on. However, that's not public information.
Wow.
So that makes it harder for parents to be able to look at that and know, who to leave their child with, or what they need to do to keep their families safe.
Is there any way for a human to get access to that, or is it just workers? Like, you can't just ask somebody?
Right, that is just workers. Foster care caseworkers and investigators just have access to that information.
So, I'm thinking, if I was a foster parent, and I'm basically volunteering,
Right.
and I'm a good foster parent, and I bring this baby in, but I work my job, there's no way to catch those kind of convictions if you do, you could do your regular background checks, and your due diligence there, and those are pretty easy to do now, but the only way you would actually see that convictions is if you had that database. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's right. So you would be relying on your caseworker to relay that information to you if it was a fostered child.
And there's some loopholes there.
Right.
So, yeah, that's
And I think
okay.
the other thing to remember is that a lot of times the community thinks that just because you have a child abuse or neglect charge in the child welfare system, that equals a criminal charge, and that's not the case.
So what are we talking, Courtney, when you were talking about convictions earlier and that they don't get a lot of time? So what are we talking people get for say, some of these heinous crimes?
So sometimes we're seeing, this is a super violent offense. Child abuse is obviously a violent offense. But say that person doesn't have any kind of background of that type of behavior, they may just get probation. They may get 5 years probation. In Missouri, with substantial or serious bodily injury or serious emotional injury, the recommended sentencing is 5 to 15 years, but that's not guaranteed.
Right.
Plus most of these cases take years before they get to the end. So after, say, a 3 or a 4 year trial, that person now has 3 or 4 years of time served. If it's not time served, sometimes they get it credited to their probation. So it's a very unjust system. It's not a timely thing, and then the crimes aren't being punished very well.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I've found in my research this week is, man, if it's on a young child who can't speak or kind of give the details as to what's happened, the chances of that being convicted,
Good luck.
yeah, because there's no type of real evidence.
Right.
as to what happened, but yet it's a huge problem. And it makes me, just talking right here, I have, 6 under the age of 5 or 6. I have 6 under the age of 6. We rarely we're really picky about who we let the babies be with, and we got to know you really well. But just sitting here and talking, it's made me even like second guess everybody that we have. You see what I'm saying? Because how do you really know? I mean, I guess there's no clad-proof way to background check to make sure that you have a good nanny or a good sitter or a good whatever in your house. Is that right?
I mean, that's accurate.
Wow. So you have to really know. And what we kind of do, and not everybody has this privilege, but we have people that are grandparents to our kids, and so, they watch our kids, and then we have a girl that we've known for quite a while, and so, and we also don't leave our kids very, very long spans of time, but everybody needs a break, and so you just kind of have to even know. And I know that we're encouraged to use respite in foster care, but there's been some things. I mean, we've sent our kids to respite a couple of times, and there was no abuse. Obviously, we would have called in, but there was just things that happened during that respite. Yeah, and I was just like, ooh, I don't know that we want to use them again. So, and do things differently. So, for a parent who is going through a situation where a child has been abused, and they're the parent, do you have any good advice that you could give to them on, one, I would guess even if they're not the abuser, there has to be some guilt factors that come in with these ladies that you work with, and then two, kind of how to move forward from this, because you seem to be in touch with a lot of these women who are affected by this. So tell me, how did you overcome the guilt and kind of move on?
So that's really hard. What I did was I plugged myself into support groups, which was not easy. At first I was trying to go into like a grief, because when this happens, you've got guilt and your life changes, and that wasn't really a good fit. But I found that Facebook had a whole realm of groups for support, and you can connect with other parents who have been there.
Right.
And from that, you share stories, and just by sharing it, it alleviates some of that. And you just take it one day at a time.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for being with us, Courtney. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up here today
on Foster Life.
Your logo deserves to be on our duffel bag. Contact Cindy McDaniel today. So we're wrapping up today, Wednesday, on Foster Life, and boy, that's a little disturbing, huh?
It's disturbing for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of have a pit in my stomach, but I'm with Courtney, man. Whatever Foster TV can do, I think that this needs to definitely be one of the things that we're talking about with our politicians and people that we're engaged with. On Saturday, we found out at the 2019 Foster Institute Conference, something like that. They talked about Foster TV, and we had all these people that were sending us messages that had just been in there, but the reason we were talked about is because we're a place for people to plug in, and then also because we want to work with politicians and political figures for this type of thing.
Right.
35%, dude, is
Yeah,
being prosecuted.
That's a very small number.
And then under that, actually being convicted, wow. That just...
It's unsettling, honestly.
Yeah, oh, it is. It's very unsettling. But that's why we do what we do, and that's why we volunteer. You know, Tristan works a full day, and Cindy works a full day, I work a full day, Courtney works, we all work full days, and then we come here and we do this. Jody, our new Joe Mama, we all work and then we come here and do this. But that's why we do this, is because of we want to change this kind of stuff and we want to get the conversation going. If you want to participate in our duffel bag giveaway, we're giving away duffel bags to foster youth so they don't have to move with their trash bags anymore. You can enter and you can donate. When you donate, you get entered into all kinds of drawings. You can get the Pioneer Woman stuff that you saw at the beginning of the show. All that stuff goes to one person. We have a barbecue grill with utensils. We have a, what's his name?
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez.
Sign, print.
Yeah, and it's matted. It's got a little plaque. You can win that. It's a limited edition just by donating. And then we also have a $100 Walmart gift card that you can enter to win. And we're going to give all of that away when we have reached our goal to give away the first 1,000 bags. And we're halfway there now. So we're at the halfway mark. We got to raise the rest of the money, and as soon as we've raised enough money to give away 1,000 bags, but we want to give away the first 1,000 in August.
Right.
Now the reason why everybody keeps saying, well, why is August so important to you, Rob? Well, so our neighbor in Aurora that lived right across the street from us, she was an investigator. And so when these kids go back to school, they start talking about their summer, and so it opens up a lot of investigations. And so a lot of kids come into care. Well, when kids come into care this August, I don't want to move them with trash bags. I want to move them with bags, and you do too, because we don't like it. And if you think that it's not important, go find a foster kid and ask them if they moved with a trash bag, and then see their response. And I think you'll change your mind real quick.
We definitely know how they respond.
Yeah, because we've talked to lots of kids, and the outcome's all the same, and it has a negative psychological impact on them. And so, please, get behind our duffel bag drive. If you don't want any of this crap we're giving away, just donate. But it's not crap, it's awesome. And you know what? The Pioneer Woman, the barbecue grill, and the $100 gift card, that came from a foster kid who went out and got all that stuff because she doesn't want to move with trash bags and grocery sacks. She doesn't want another kid to move with trash bags and grocery sacks. For that kind of work, it must be important. So that's going to be coming up. Make sure you donate. fostertv.net. Coming up on Friday. What's on the scoop for Friday? Friday, somebody.
Making special events big.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be making special events big. We got Joe Mama on the show. She's going to show us how to do, remember we were talking about life books?
Yep.
One of the parts that we're doing is life books, and she's going to tie that in with making special events big.
Oh,
and
exciting.
She's going to show us how to do some creative stuff, and who knows, she might even bring stuff so we can make a snack.
We can have a snack on the show?
Yeah, Tristan
Oh,
loves
I'd enjoy
snacks.
that one.
Yeah, so we'll be back Friday on Making Events Big, right here on Foster Life. See you later. Adios.
Afterlife is a HEDFRA production, only on Foster TV.